Hello and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Ayşe Süberker. Türkiye says it will soon initiate discussions with Pakistan about its entry to the Turkish KAAN fighter jet program. Turkish Deputy Defense Minister Celal Sami Tufekci made the announcement in Karachi last week during the launch of the fourth and final warship made under the Turkish-Pakistani collaboration program, Milgem. Tufekci also said hundreds of Pakistani experts are already working on the research and development of KAAN, which is Turkiye's homegrown fighter jet program led by Turkish Aerospace. Defense cooperation between the two countries has increased in recent years, with Türkiye having sold aircraft systems to Pakistan, including Baykar's Bayraktar TB2s and Bayraktar Akinci. The two militaries have also carried out several joint drills and combat trainings. In early August, Pakistan's Prime Minister reiterated his invitation to Türkiye to become the third partner of CPEC, its joint economic corridor project with China. And to discuss the relations between Pakistan and Türkiye, joining me now from Islamabad is Hannan Hussein. He is a foreign affairs analyst, and Ömer Aslan is an associate professor at Social Sciences University of Ankara. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Hannan, the Turkish government has recently announced that Pakistan may officially join the fifth generation fighter jet program. How important is Pakistan's inclusion in this program?
I think it's really important. First of all, it is key to kind of positioning Turkey as one of Pakistan's dependable partners for combat aircraft. We do see China has made a lot of inroads in that space. And this would obviously give a lot of concrete shape to what both sides have consistently called for an upgrade in defense cooperation. We also know that about 200 Pakistani officials and workers are actively involved in the development of this program. So that kind of lends optimism, to greater familiarity with this program, and how it will contribute to Pakistan's defense needs and Turkey's, of course, capacity building as well.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Hannan, Pakistan hasn't made an official statement about this project. Why do you think it is like that?
I think they want to give more space to greater feasibility, get a sense of exactly where Pakistan places expertise in this particular program. But we do know that from the start, I think it was about August 2nd, when the Turkish side had basically confirmed that they were going to initiate negotiations with Pakistan and make it forward. So we do have a couple of weeks of space to see where Pakistan fits in. But the climate is set to include Pakistan and see where both sides can take it forward.
So, Ömer, how would that add to the defense cooperation between the two countries?
Well, I think it will be, and we know that Turkey and Pakistan has enjoyed very close political relations. Well, economy front has not really advanced that much, but the military aspect, although not well known by the general public, has been really far advanced, as we know, with many defense cooperation schemes on various programs between the two countries. I think this will be the almost pinnacle if it can be pulled off. Of course, it's a long project that will eventually, it will take many years, I think, to eventually come to fruition. But it will be the pinnacle of this defense cooperation that has been, I think, at a very good stage for many, many years between the two countries.
So, Hannan, Pakistan has also launched the fourth and final ship constructed under Turkiye's Milgem program. How will this ship increase the Pakistan Navy's power projection capacity?
I think on several fronts. So let's begin with the fact that this is Pakistan's most technologically advanced Muslim-class warship. So it's a welcome addition to this fleet, which until, let's say, before 2018 was kind of thought to be a dream, which is nearing fruition. So that's one aspect of it, the technological advancement aspect. Secondly, I think Pakistan Navy has made no secret about advancing its deterrence capacities in its immediate waters. So this particular, I'd say, inclusion kind of gives strength to Pakistan's broader ambition, which is to ultimately develop, 40 such vessels, of varying competencies, but also to make sure that many vessels are good enough to set at this pinnacle of technological advancement within the maritime space, where Pakistan can take its maritime ambitions forward.
So, Ömer, I mean, besides their deep-seated cultural and historic ties, what's the shared strategic vision between Ankara and Islamabad?
Well, I think it is definitely freedom of the seas, especially if we think about, from the Pakistani perspective, to become a maritime nation. I think the maritime aspect in Pakistan has been, at least this is the Pakistani now understanding, which is, I think, correct, that they have underestimated and ignored the maritime to become a maritime power for such a long time. And I think between Turkey and Pakistan, there is this shared understanding that the freedom of the seas cannot be left to only other countries. Mm-hmm. And this, I think, this project that has almost now come to fruition with the final Milgem, this warship, this directly contributes to this kind of basically a bigger target to become, to provide the freedom of the seas. And also, for Pakistan to become a more proactive, actually, a maritime nation than just a defensive aspect, to basically project power, especially, of course, in the Indian Ocean region that we are talking about, and also Northern Arabian Sea, I think.
So, Hanan, during the launch of the Milgem corvette, Pakistan's Prime Minister Sharif reiterated his call for Türkiye to join the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. How viable is this?
I think in the long run, it's pretty viable for Turkey. Several reasons. First of all, this corridor, the $62 billion connectivity corridor, is now focused on a second phase project. And that includes many of the sectors and areas that are of relevance to both Turkey and Pakistan. Talking about green development, talking about industrial transition, agriculture, all of that. So, gives Turkey a broader menu to choose which sectors would serve as a starting point to kind of get a toehold in this initiative and then look to scale things up forward from there. I think if you look over the past decade, CPEC has attracted about $25 billion in foreign investment from China. The particular aspect over there is that there's been a lot of sustainable financing. There's been a lot of flexibility on how loans and funding will come in. So given the kind of economic pressures that from Turkey to Pakistan to China and other countries have been facing, it gives, it limits the room for financial burden on a particular country to kind of get into the project, but not exactly have to kind of shoulder all of the financial burden. So I think the flexible financing aspect of it, the wide range of sectors involved, and the second phase is something that could contribute to Turkey's connectivity ambitions all the way to Central Asia in the long run.
So, Ömer, what do you think? What kind of a potential does this corridor present for Turkey? How would Turkey be integrated in such a big project? Are there any challenges?
Of course, there are challenges, but to start with, I think it really, the project chimes with Turkey's ambitions and Turkey's basically, the ambition to become a hub. And then also, of course, provide this connectivity between South Asia, West Asia, and of course to Europe too. And there comes, of course, the importance of the middle corridor as becoming more economical and then more feasible when you compare it, of course, the northern corridor and the southern corridor too. But there are challenges, of course. I think this is not the first time Pakistan wanted Turkey to actually become a partner in CPEC. But the problem here, I don't think, is willingness, but the problem is about, I think, clear communication about where can Turkey fit and how can Turkey fit into this larger project. Because I think CPEC is a very complicated, very sophisticated project in which there are different financing arrangements for different projects about energy, about infrastructure. So how can Turkey really fit? And I think President Erdogan made this remark a couple of years ago too. It's not about willingness, but it's about how can you tell us more clearly about what this is, and to, of course, the Turkish investors too, who will be, of course, investing in this project. So it's about this more about communications and about where can we really fit in terms of finance and in which projects too in this sense.
So, Hanan, is China also insisting on Turkey's inclusion in this project?
China has been, I'd say specifically, it's communicated that intent in terms of expanding CPEC as a whole. So China's focus prominently has been on, for example, the Afghan-led Taliban regime and expanding it over there. But I'd say whenever Pakistan has made, voices aspirations to get Turkey's intent for CPEC, China has not exactly been resistant to it because it serves China's interest to see an expansion of the Belt and Road. We know for a fact that South Asia is one of the most least economically integrated regions, so all the more incentive for China, which is banking on this project, to expand it. So I think from China's point of view, it has been engaging with multiple actors, but has also given Pakistan the space to communicate that intent to partners that are close to Pakistan and see whether this initiative can rise beyond just two parties at present.
But so, as Hanan said, Ömer, China is engaging with multiple partners, one of which is, of course, India. So why is India objecting to this project, which would become trilateral with Turkiye's inclusion? Is this a matter of sovereignty?
Well, India projects is as such, especially, of course, in terms of Kashmir, that India sees, of course, Azad Jammu Kashmir, India sees this as a disputed territory, is occupied by Pakistan. But of course, we know that this issue goes much deeper than this. And I think from the Indian perspective, and why India objects to this is we should look at how India is against internationalizing the Kashmir. India wants to take this as between Pakistan and India, and then, of course, not to really resolve the dispute and then prolong it. And we know, of course, then India in 2019 took this unilateral move and made Kashmir, of course, Indian now controlled Kashmir as a union territory, which then complicated the matters even more, made things even worse. I think the issue is from the Indian side is if Türkiye and Saudi Arabia, if other third partners become part of the CPEC, then they will have more stakes in Pakistan, of course, in the Kashmir issue, and then they will raise their voices even more on the Kashmir issue. Let's remember that when India wanted to have some G20 activities in Kashmir, Saudi Arabia even refused to take part in those activities.
Yes.
So that will mean, of course, internationalization of possibly Kashmir issue, which India, of course, is against it. So they rather portray this as an issue of territorial integrity and sovereignty, but actually it's not really that. It's more about how they are against internationalizing Kashmir.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk.